The Big Buck Profile is brought to you by the New York State Big Buck Club.
Okay, we're here at the banquet with Jason.
Yes.
All right. Frank, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Tell us about this buck. What county, weapon of harvest, and gross inches?
He is from Jefferson County, town of Brownville. He grossed 144.3, finished 140.3, so he just made the book with the rifle.
Yep.
I killed him with the rifle on the 29th of October. I've had pictures of this buck since I knew he was 3. He probably was around as a 2-year-old, but he was nothing special. At 3 I started noticing him, but he'd broken at 3. He had actually this year was he just grew this back the year that I killed him. He had this when he was 3, and he busted his main beam off during velvet just above his brow tine at 3. Saw him a ton as a 3-year-old. As a 4-year-old, he started getting camera savvy, and you'd get a picture of him on a camera, you never see him on that camera again. You get him on another camera maybe a couple weeks later. As a 5 and a 6-year-old, the only pictures I had of him were in September bachelor groups. You'd never get a picture of him after that. You'd get him in the back of a bachelor group in September. I killed him as a 7-year-old.
Wow.
He was 200 pounds after hanging for 3 days. It's funny because I shot over his back as a 6-year-old with my bow. He ducked an arrow at like 40 yards.
Wow.
And I shot over his back. I killed a 162 in Indiana in 20, and I wasn't gonna hunt again after I killed that buck.
Sure.
That year. I killed a good buck, and buddy saw him crossing the road. I didn't think he was around because he normally would vanish for a while.
Sure.
In November and then show back up. So I went in and hunted. Didn't think it was this buck that he'd seen. And hadn't seen a deer all morning. 8:15. He walks out. I stood up and I shot right over his back, and I about threw up because last year, ironically, I didn't have any pictures of this deer when I killed him. I had pictures of, I'm assuming one of his siblings. It's a buck that's about 2 years younger than this one. He was about 130-inch 8-point last year. I do have pictures of him again this year. He's one of my target bucks, but I had pictures of that big 8, and I had blocked off 3 days for this one area that if I have a big buck on the property, if you hunt around Halloween and you sit dark to dark, you can kill him on the right wind.
Yeah.
Ironically, I'd set up Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I was going to hunt, which would have been the 30th, 31st, and the 1st. And on the wind forecast for Saturday was horrible. And I'm a corrections officer, but I'm also a fishing guide. I had clients on the morning and Friday, steelhead fishing, and the weather was crap for Saturday, so I decided to hunt on Friday evening. And I got in the stand early, about 2:30, and that stand's real effective for light calling in the evenings or in the mornings that time of the year. And I just light sparring, grunted. 15 minutes later, he shows up raking a tree. And
awesome.
When I killed him, I shot him high shoulder and dropped him. And I thought until I walked up on him he was that big. I saw he was a shooter and shot him. And when I walked up on him, I knew exactly what deer it was. I was amazed. He was even more impressive. I traveled a lot out of state to shoot bucks like this and to shoot that in New York.
Same with me. We all do it.
You know?
And it's crazy you have all that history with them and all the cameras year after year. That makes it more of a reward.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's
special deer. I've killed some good deer out of state, and they're not as special as this one.
Yeah, no,
and they're bigger. You know.
Yeah, it's always special when they're home.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
On property I've hunted since I was probably 25, so got some history hunting that property.
That's great. Well, thank you very much for coming
thank
by,
you.
sharing your story, dude. Great buck.
Thank you.
Great buck.